Saturn is by far one of the most fascinating planets in our solar system. It's a gas giant that has more rings than any other planet that we know of, except maybe Jupiter. But there's more to this planet than just its appearance because it holds a special place in astrology. And many people believe that it can tell us about our future. But not just our future, the future of humanity. So much so that some say the world's elite are obsessed with Saturn, and it all goes back to a secret cult that began in ancient times. Before we get into it, make sure to hit that like button for more videos. In today's video, we're going to take a look at what the world's elite have to say about Saturn. And if they're really obsessed with it, why? Saturn is the sixth planet from the Sun and is named after the Roman god of agriculture. It's a gas giant with no solid surface, and it's so massive that it could fit 964,000 Earths inside of it. The planet itself is almost 10 times larger than Earth, which makes it one of the largest planets in the solar system. Now, when you're looking at Saturn through a telescope, you might think you're seeing rings. But don't be fooled because those aren't actually rings. Instead, they're made up of countless small pieces of rock and dust that are held together by gravity. We still don't know exactly how these rings formed or how old they are, but they are thought to be billions of years old. There are hundreds of known rings around Saturn, and each one is unique in its own way. Some are wide and easy to see, while others are narrow and hard to detect. The largest gap in the rings is called the Cassini division, and it's over 4,000 kilometers across. One of the most interesting things about Saturn is that it spins on its axis faster than any other planet in the solar system. This means that the planet is flat at the poles and bulging at the equator. It also has the longest day of any planet in the solar system, with one day on Saturn lasting longer than 26 Earth days. Saturn is also home to some of the most extreme weather conditions in the solar system. Its atmosphere is full of violent storms that can last for years. One of the most famous storms was discovered by the Cassini spacecraft in 2010. It was so big that it covered the entire planet. As far as moons go, Saturn takes the cake. It has more than a dozen known moons, including Titan, which is the only moon in the solar system that has a thick atmosphere. Saturn is a very distant planet, and it takes about 29 years for it to orbit the Sun just once. So it's not surprising that it wasn't until relatively recently that we learned so much about it. The first spacecraft to visit Saturn was Pioneer 11 in 1979. But the most detailed images and discoveries have come from the Cassini spacecraft, which orbited the planet from 2004 to 2017. Now let's talk about the real reason why Saturn is so important. You see, for centuries, Saturn has been associated with magic and the occult. In fact, it was believed that the planet itself was a magical being, and some even believed that it was the home of Satan. This is where the whole obsession thing comes in. People who are interested in magic and the occult often study astrology, which is the belief that the positions of the stars and planets at the time of a person's birth can influence their personality and destiny. Astrologers believe that Saturn is one of the most important planets in the zodiac because it represents discipline, hard work, and responsibility. They also believe that it can bring bad luck and hardship, but only to those who deserve it. That's because in astrology, Saturn is considered a malefic planet. This doesn't mean that it's evil, but it does mean that it can bring about difficult situations and challenges. Saturn is also associated with death and rebirth, and it's believed that it can bring about major changes in a person's life. These changes can be positive or negative, depending on the individual. Some believe that Saturn is the ruler of the underworld, and that it has the power to bring people back from the dead. Others believe that it's the planet of wisdom and that it can help people to understand the mysteries of the universe. In the Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish text, Saturn is described as a fallen angel who rebelled against God. He's cast out of heaven and sent to earth, where he becomes the father of giants. The Book of Enoch is not part of the Bible, but it was used as a source for some of the Psalms in the Old Testament. It's possible that this story about Saturn influenced the development of the planet's negative reputation. The Romans associated Saturn with wealth and luxury. They believed that the planet was so powerful that it could bring riches and fame to those who worshipped it. As a result, Saturn became one of the most popular deities in Roman mythology. But Saturn wasn't always seen as a positive force. During the Middle Ages, Saturn was associated with witchcraft and the devil. This was due in part to the planet's slow movement across the sky, which made it appear to move backwards at times. This retrograde motion was seen as evidence of the planet's evil influence. And finally, let's discuss the Illuminati. Now, if you're not familiar with the Illuminati, they were a secret society that was founded in Bavaria in 1776. The group's goal was to bring about the Age of Enlightenment by promoting education and reason. However, the Illuminati were eventually banned by the government and their activities were kept secret. Or were they? Some believe that the Illuminati survived underground and that they're still active today. They believe that the Illuminati are a secret cabal that controls world events and that they use their power to further their own goals. Some also believe that the Illuminati are obsessed with Saturn and that they plan to use the planet's energy to bring about a new world order. The idea that the Illuminati are obsessed with Saturn is based on a number of factors. First, Saturn is a planet of power and control. It's a gas giant that's much larger than Earth, and it has rings that some believe are a symbol of its power. Additionally, Saturn is associated with magic and the occult, and it's believed that the Illuminati are interested in these subjects. Finally, Saturn is a distant planet that takes 29 years to orbit the Sun. This makes it a planet of mystery and intrigue, and it's easy to see how the Illuminati could become obsessed with it. We should also mention that the Illuminati aren't the only ones who are interested in Saturn. NASA has a mission called the Cassini-Huygens, which is designed to study the planet and its rings in detail. The mission launched in 1997, and the spacecraft arrived at Saturn in 2004. Cassini has made some incredible discoveries about Saturn, including the fact that it has more than a dozen known moons and that its rings are more complex than we ever imagined. The mission is scheduled to end in 2025, but it's possible that it will be extended. That's because Cassini has made such incredible discoveries about Saturn that scientists are eager to continue studying the planet. So, what do you think? Is the world's elite really obsessed with Saturn? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button for more videos. Thanks for watching.